one is for Christabel from Peter from San Jose. Krista, how did you meet David, and what is it like to not only be directed by him, but to act with him?
Well, I met David. Hey. Hi. I just want to take this first moment to say thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this. It's super special, as Sabrina said, and it's really great. And it's very fulfilling and exciting and slightly terrifying and all these wonderful things. And so yeah, thank you. I met David, I guess around 2000, the year 2000, through an agent named Brian Lux, who is someone that knows David very well and has a understanding about David's taste for musical collaborators, and introduced David to Sabrina, make sure this is correct, Rebecca Del Rio, and Licky Lee, also John Whitno, and Karen O, and many others. And I was one of the people that he met, and he said, hey, I think David might want to work with you. And I'm forever grateful for that intuition that I had, and he made the introduction, and then we wrote a song together that day, and that's how I met David. And my life will never be the same. And as far as, the acting alongside and being directed by, it's kind of, after all these years, it's just like, hey, that's my pal David. He's doing his thing. He's really good at this. He's really great at doing this, and I'm so happy to just be in this space. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm in it too. Wow, okay. I'm just kind of taking in the moment and kind of overwhelmed by the moment, and then reminded that I'm on. Then it's time to go. It's time to do my thing, and David's just there to hold space and be compassionate and considerate and let you know that you're supposed to be there, and there's this beautiful thing that you get to be a part of, and then you just so naturally want to give heart and soul, and it's this beautiful experience. And I don't know that there's a difference between the directing and the acting alongside, because you're just with this person that just has so much competency for what they're doing, and it's so purposeful, and it's just like this beautiful dance that we all get to be a part of. And he's also, he kind of total scene stealer. Like, I'm like, damn, how do you get to do everything? Like, it's kind of like, yeah, but it's profound, beautiful, and a really wonderful experience, and I'm very happy to be a part of this Twin Peaks family. So thank you.
Christabel, sorry, that was wonderful. All right, the next one is also from Peter from San Jose, and it's for Kimmy, but original cast members, please feel free to share your thoughts as well. Kimmy, what felt different and what felt the same about Twin Peaks: The Return?
What felt different was all my wrinkles. Everything else was the same.
Any other original cast members want to add to that?
No, I won't be as funny. No, the security. Because when we filmed like Fire Walk With Me in the Tweeds, there were people, the poor people couldn't keep all the people just from standing in the middle of the street and screaming, and you'd walk outside to get a breath of fresh air, and they'd be, okay. And this time around it was so secret that I went outside and a woman came up and said, oh, is this closed? And they're like, yeah, we're filming. You know Twin Peaks was filmed here. I was like, really? Wow. Yeah. So that was the difference. All the secrecy.
it on? Turn it on. There it is.
Let the musician take care of it.
That's my nephew. He's so clever. He's very good. He's very mechanical. Oh, sorry. Okay. What's different? What is different? Well, we're older. And Twin Peaks is bigger because it isn't just Twin Peaks, it's other places as well. So, it's hard to talk about it. You don't want to give anything away. But I think David has taken the years in between and he's turned it into part of the story for all of us. And so I'm enjoying that. And of course, before, it was just before. But yeah, it's the passage of time, and it's expanded. It's so much bigger. I mean, it's other places, it's the universe, it's the past, it's, you know, the beginning of life, and I mean, it's as big can be. So that's different, but it's just, it still comes from the same loving place. So.
I don't know how to follow it. Again, I think it's the same. I think that's what's so remarkable about it. I think it's, initially for me, it was the pilot that was pretty much the most, even while shooting it, I think everybody was saying, like, they, you know, thought it was beautiful, you know, and that to me is the quintessential beautiful Twin Peaks. And then this comes along, and like the cat, we didn't know, we had no, you know, we're not given, like you guys know, we're not given the rest of the script except for Kyle, and then it was like way better than I thought it would be. I was like, I went, oh, it's the pilot turned up, you know. So I just went. For me, it was that's the only difference, is that it was what it was because it was meant to be that for what it was. But for me, it was like, this is, for me in my heart, this is what it was all along. The pilot and this. It was, and it's, again, it's just very thankful to be a part of it, and glad you guys are all here too.
Thank you guys so much. So this next one is for Mr. John Neff, and this is actually a question that my husband John and I wanted to ask you. Can you tell us your experience writing No Stars with David Lynch for Rebecca Del Rio to sing in The Return? How was that?
Yes, it actually started off as a Blue Bob song, and the chord progression that I wrote was initially to be for a second Blue Bob album, and Brian Laux, the same agent from CAA, brought over Rebecca to meet us, and of course she had sung Gerondo in Mulholland Drive, and we were toying with the idea of doing an entire album. So Dave really liked those chords, and he wrote the English lyrics for No Stars, and then Rebecca wrote a Spanish translation, and she wrote the vocal melody, and Dave and I both played guitar on the record, and I played the guitarchestra, which is a big guitar-driven synthesizer rig, orchestral rig, and drums, and recorded it and mixed it, and it sat on the shelf for quite some time, but there's a version of it on Rebecca's Love Hurts, Love Heals album from 2011, and then the version, it's a different master, but the version that you hear in the TV series was something that we did some years ago. It was really an amazing experience, and David is a creative genius. Oh, and I played guitar on it. not Moby.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. All right, the next one is another one for Sabrina. It's from Katie from Cape Cod. And she would like to know, has David ever asked you to go and get a bigger bucket?
I'm so used to not using a microphone and just yelling at everybody. I will say David has yelled at me for many things, but never for a bigger bucket.
Perfect, thank you. This next one is for Al, and it's from Peter from San Jose. And the question is there a different mood in the Red Room set, or is it like any other Twin Peaks shoot? Is it different being inside the Red Room as opposed to shooting at a different location?
In some ways it is very different. In other ways it's exactly the same. Because all the things are there. The camera's there, David's there, you're supposed to know your lines and hit your mark. And so in that respect it is the same. However, there has grown over the years, since I did Fire Walk with Me in a Red Room scene, that the room has developed an aura about it. Hard to describe, because it is an aura, not a real thing. But it almost seems like a holy place now, whereas before it was just another set.
So much. All right, this next one is for anybody that's in the new cast, and it is from John from Portland. We all know that guy. Portland John. If you could play a character from the original cast, who would it be?
We'll start with Jeremy down here.
There we go.
I'll work with Jeremy.
Good evening. From the original cast, it's very hard to... Okay! I'm a large man. Yes, I wouldn't replace anyone from the original cast. These guys were legends to me, as I assume they're legends to you. And the show is a strange, mix of kind of perfection to me that has hit all these sweet spots that were very important. This show was formative to my, decisions to be an actor, and what I wanted to do with my life. Part of this show has been important to me for 25 years, and I wouldn't replace it. I wouldn't change it. I think I could have been, a little bit better than Ted Raimi in that part. But other than that, I know Ted Raimi's so good. But other than that, yeah, no. I'm glad that I got to be where I am now, and I'm glad that it happened to me later in life than when I was young and thought I deserved it. And now, I'm a little bit older, I've had to work a little harder, and I appreciate it more. And I love being up here and being able to talk to you guys now and being able to meet heroes of mine. So, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much, Rob, for organizing this. And you guys are awesome. I want to say thanks to the Twin Peaks family. You guys have been so nice to me anyway in social media and things and welcoming me. Thanks so much. If I was to play someone other than Candy, I would hate that because I love playing her so much. But if it had to be someone, I'd like to play Cooper.
Hey everybody. was like a huge Albert fan. Like Albert was So when I, saw the show like you all did, like it just blew my mind, and I became a fan instantly. It was Albert that really resonated with me. He was my favorite. But as Jeremy said, yeah, there's no one else but Miguel that could have played that role. So, Reverend. All right. What? Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Does that answer the question? Yeah. Thanks everybody for coming here. This is just mind blowing. This is brand new to me, and I'm like Amy said, it's just like everybody's so great on social media. They're just so. Everybody is. David said, like when I rap, he said, you're part of the family now, and that it's just one of the greatest things anybody's ever said to me. I mean, this has been like a dream. It's been, it just isn't even real to me. I mean, it's like Mike TV, like stepping inside the TV or something. I mean, the idea that this show is so influential to me and such a huge part of. As an artist, the idea just so comforting to know that somebody, like David Lynch and Mark Frost could like make a show in Sabrina, that could make a show that sort of changed the way, we think about like what art can be, and then the idea that I could participate in it is just mind-blowing to me. So anyway, hey, thanks.
This is crazy. No, I would probably play Bob. No, just because like throughout my whole acting career, I just find that like villains are so beautiful in and of themselves, of the darkness, and the number one rule when acting is play your positives. And so to be an evil entity, but to find that positive through line, I find that's so poetic and beautiful. But again, no one could replace the actor that played Bob. No one could replace any of the actors that played the original characters. David is a genius, and he knows exactly what he wants. And so yeah, I'm just blessed to be sitting here with all these people.
We're blessed to have all of you guys here. Thank you. All right, this one, that was the last question. Kat is not managing her paperwork. Anyway. This next one is from Sabrina, from Peter, from San Jose. Can you talk about, we're going a little somber. Warning, we're going a little somber. Can you please talk about the details of honoring the deceased cast members, logistics with the likenesses, when and how the footage was shot with Catherine, and especially the Blue Rose clip of Don Davies?
Good question.
Yeah, this is truly a sad thing. As you know, David loves his actors. David loves the show in general, as do everybody, or it does everybody. He was insistent on having certain people in the show regardless. And I will say, I'll go on a positive note, although it's kind of a weird negative. With Miguel Ferrer, we didn't know at the time that he was ill. And he had a scheduling conflict where he wasn't able to work with us unless he could only work on the weekends and on certain days where we were off. And so David said, we have to have him. And we changed our whole schedule to make sure that he could work with us. And looking back at it now, David is just, he knew we had to have him. And at the time, think we had a production meeting. The crew was going to kind of rebel because we had just shot up here in Washington. We were working 6-day weeks. We went down to LA, and and we planned, okay, we're now on 5 and we can kind of take a breather because it's very difficult to work 6 to 8 weeks. And we had a production meeting and said, you know what, we're really sorry, but David wants Miguel, and David actually made the speech, so he says, I really want Miguel. Miguel is part of our show. We have to have him, and so we're going to have to work some Saturdays. I'm really sorry, but, you know, we want him. He's part of the family. And that's how it was for everybody. And now, looking back, it's so great that we didn't say, okay, we're going to recast. I mean, people were saying that, you know, crew people or whoever were saying, well, let's recast or do whatever. And it's like, no, this is Albert. You know, we're not writing him out. We're not going to recast them. We have to have him. And look, it's just so great that we did. So I think with Catherine, we were very lucky to have her. I really don't want to go into her whole thing. You know, it's, I think, a little personal. But she, you know, wanted to do it. And we're so grateful, again, that we were able to do that. And all the people who have passed away, who are seen, we did talk to their families to make sure everything would be good and allow us to do that. So we wanted to honor them. We had to make sure that they were in the show. And actually, Showtime gave a special dispensation, because usually they don't have anyone in memory of. And so one of the first things that we did in terms of negotiation was say, we need to say in the credits in memory of.
Thank you. That's lovely. That is so lovely. All right, we're going to bring the mood up and talk about candy for a second. So this next one is for Amy Shields from Casey from Crockett, California. Yes. And the question is, your character and her 2 companions, friends, wives, sisters, sister wives, are very distracted and dressed the same way all of the time. Do you have a backstory for Candy and her friends, wives, sisters? And will you and can you share it?
My squad. I can't, I'm sorry. I'm not actually allowed to talk about that. Yeah, because there's so many things that you could easily give away. You know, it's ours for interpretation, and you guys can figure out all of those questions. I'm asking a lot of those questions myself, so to be fair, even if I could tell you, I actually can't, because I don't know. Are they actually there? Are they real? We just don't know. Are they? So, thank you.
Awesome. Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I do. Sorry. So this is me telling her she can't do that. So if you're angry about it, you can always address me, but I'm the person who tells everybody they can't talk. And it's just we're trying to maintain the mystery. You watch the entire thing, and then if you have questions, maybe we can give you answers. So I'm really sorry, Amy, but it has nothing, you know, she would love to be able to tell you it's me. So.
We totally respect that, because we love the mystery, right, guys? Awesome. Okay, this next one is for Charlotte, and it's from Kathy from Kentucky. You travel for Twin Peaks and for Little House on the Prairie. What is your favorite destination that you travel to? And then the same question for both Betty Briggs and for Miss Beadle.
Turn it on.
Okay, you covered a lot of ground here. Is this on?
Turn it on.
Here, let me turn it off. I turned it off, you don't have feedback.
Blame Rob.
And you have
Rob.
Okay, there we go. Hi. I don't know how many of you knew I was Miss Beadle on Little House on the Prairie, as well as Betty Briggs. Well, obviously, my favorite place is up here. I mean, this has been a joy. This is my 24th journey to the Salish. I'm the luckiest person in the whole world. I know. But I have spent a lot of time in the Midwest because I travel a lot with the fan base of Little House on the Prairie. So part of the year I'm in Missouri and in West Virginia and in Wisconsin and all these places meeting all these wonderful families who think that's who I am. And so, yeah, I love coming up here. This is just a favorite destination. Was there another question?
Same question for both Miss Beadle and for Betty Briggs.
Okay, Betty Briggs loves Twin Peaks. Gosh, I don't know. I just got to play such a happy person, you know, spread love. And oh my God, weren't you shocked when you saw her a couple of weeks ago? Yes! Betty's back!
Thank you, Charlotte. All right, so this next one is for all the new cast. I'm going to split these up because there's actually two here. So all new cast, or whoever wants to answer, old cast as well, or original cast, sorry. Original and or new. Tell us your audition experience for the show and if you even knew what you were auditioning for, because there is a rumor going around that Jim Belushi thought he was auditioning for a porn. So...
And on that note, we'll start with Jeremy.
There we go.
That's a great segue. Thank you very much. I was pretty sure I wasn't going in for porn. No. I've kind of talked about this a bit. You know, I'm a super fanboy. I've been, following the show. I didn't catch the first run. I was, 14 years old and 15 years old when season 1 and 2 came out. But I was already a giant film geek, and I had first seen Blue Velvet when I was like 10. I knew David Lynch. I loved David Lynch. I was waiting for this. And since I couldn't catch it all in one thing, I don't know if you remember 1991, 1992, but you couldn't get series. You couldn't, catch as catch can. But I had the Battle of Menteith soundtrack, before Fire Walk With Me came out, and I saw Fire Walk With Me in the theater, and I had the Secret Diary of Twin Peaks, or Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, long before I saw the original series. So everything, allegedly had been spoiled for me. But by the time, I got to the series, it was still, completely magical. The question was about my, audition, so I'm just going through the background. I was a huge obsessive fan. I've got theories, of this season too that I can't talk about. I hear you guys on social media. I'm like, oh wow, I better not speculate. So I knew that she had said that we'll return in 25 years, and I was already an actor, and I was kind of established in the state. And me and my actor buddies, we were always talking, in like 7 years they're going to do Twin Peaks. So, I was like, once it started getting announcing, I directed my agent. I'll do anything, but I'm like, no, we're going to find this show. And, it went around and went around and went around. And then finally auditions started coming up. And I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement before the auditions even came. And, there's shows going on in Washington and the Pacific Northwest. It was, Grimm and Damages and Z Nation, which I was a big part of. And I know what those shows are. But the mystery show being filmed in North Bend that I have to sign a non-disclosure. I knew it wasn't going to be pornography. And I worked harder for this audition than I'd ever worked on anything in my life. I come in, you'll see some of the pictures. Again, you go through my history on the social media, but I repost them quite oftenly now. And stopped in at Tweeds on my way to, I believe it was in Bellevue where the actual audition was, or somewhere around there, and drank myself 5 cups of coffee, and I don't need stimulants. I'm hyper as it is. But I came in, and I was wired. And I was excited, and I was on. And David wasn't there. No one that I recognized was there. Just, 2 nice casting ladies, and I know how to charm the casting ladies. And they basically asked me about my experience on Z Nation, and I showed them, my zombie impersonations, and I made them laugh for about 20 minutes. And at the end, they said, "Well, I'm going to put a big red star next to your name." And I was like, no one has ever told me that in my life. And any audition process, that felt pretty good. 3 weeks later, all sorts of more secretive paperwork starts coming in. And here I am now.
So, audition process took about 18 years. And I had no idea it was coming. And I was making music with David. We were finishing up our last album together, Somewhere in the Nowhere. And he said, Christabel, I think there may be a role for you in my new project. He didn't even say the words. He said new project. Like everybody knew. Everybody knew. But he didn't even say the words, and that's all he said. That was it. And he didn't explain any details. He didn't give me any idea. He just said that. And so I was, of course, intrigued, but really had no expectation that was coming because we'd been making music together for many years at that point, and I felt that was, the extent of our artistic collaboration. And that was actually, coming to a close because we were finishing that record. I knew that his new project was going to be taking a lot of his time and that we would likely not have more time for music for many years to come. So I was at peace with that, conclusion. And then he said, maybe there's this possibility of this role for you. And that's kind of how that happened.
Joanna Ray, the casting director, came to me about 8 years ago, and she'd seen a screen test I'd done for a different film that ended up not happening. And she asked to meet with me in London, and I thought, why does she want to meet me? If she's coming over from America for the day, and her CV is just incredible. And I met with her, and I said, "Are you sure you're the right person?" She's like, "Yeah, I saw this, and a big star beside your name. That's a line she's using." So, I get it now. She said, "I've a star beside your name, and I've wanted to meet you for a long time, and I work with David Lynch, and I feel like you would be perfect for something you would do." And that was so long ago. I mean, I don't think they were even talking about remaking Twin Peaks at the time, but then cut to 8 years later, and I'm here.
I'm up. You're up.
What's the question?
Tell us your audition experience and if you knew what you were auditioning for.
Oh, man. It's so funny. It's such a private thing, They just put a big star next to me. Yeah, there you go.
And I honestly thought it was a car commercial. So
Great, thank you guys so much. All right, this next one is for Wendy from Casey from Crockett. Is Nadine's drape runner store keeping the town afloat since the mill is gone?
Is it up? Yes, it is. Oh. Maybe. I don't know. It's so funny. I wasn't really completely sure that I was going to be doing it again until someone sent me a picture of the front of the store and said, "Wendy, I think you must be in this show." And I thought it was so cool because, you know, now Nadine has a sense of humor. Because the name, the title of the store is Run Silent, Run Drink. So, anyway, that would be nice to think that one in. Thank you. Who did you say?
That's Casey.
Casey?
Yeah, Casey Hoffman.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you so much. You know, we were talking about this earlier, and you're the ones who did this. You did this. It's the truth. It's you guys. Showtime put up the money. God bless them. David makes his art. Thank you. He takes us on the ride. And you guys are the ones who did it. And all this time, you have done this. I mean, maybe it wasn't last year, but one of the questions was, do you think the new Twin Peaks will be as big a success? You know, will it have? And or do you think, oh, I know what it was. It was the relevance. It was the question of, will it still be relevant all this time later? And this is before any of us saw this amazing thing that's happened. But I asked this whole audience for a show of hands, how many came to Twin Peaks in the last, say, 10 years or more recent than that? Didn't, you know, are new to it? How many people? So, you know, later in the, look at this show of hands, and it's like this is just, okay, in the last 15 years? See, I rest my case. The audience is built in, and Showtime knows this. And so it's you guys insisting on keeping it alive. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, and I hope you continue to enjoy.
This next one is for Christabel, and it's from Charlotte Stewart from the Napa Valley. And it's about, she's wondering, can you give us a little insight into the experience of being in the scene with Matthew Lillard when he has that breakdown, that emotional breakdown, and seeing him go through that journey, as well as seeing him have to reset and do it again for a second take, and how that made you feel, and your experience, and watching him go through his experience.
Well, that was the first scene I've ever acted. Yeah. And of course I've been reading these lines in my living room for many months. And the first thing I've ever acted on television, in anything significant or meaningful. I did a kung fu film when I was 18, but that doesn't count. So I'm reading these lines, and reading these lines that this William Hastings is saying, and you're like, how is this going to play out? Like you're reading them, and they just don't, and they seem over the top, and yeah, and you're wondering how this is going to work, and because I'm, very green, I just didn't quite understand how this was all going to unfold. So, and I had no idea who was playing William Hastings, and then you have, Matthew, and he's so great. And he's just about to do this crazy scene. And I'm like, hi, I'm Christabel, this is my first day ever acting, ever. And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna give you all I've got to give. And he just, this was our destiny. We were stepping in together, and I was just like, okay, my heart is beating out of my chest, but I I'm here for a reason. I'm not going to sink into oblivion in this moment. I'm going to expand, and I'm gonna do this with this remarkable human in front of me, with all of these amazing people around me in this experience that I will never ever forget. And then Matthew fucking killed it. And all I had to do was be there with him. And I'm like Tammy, I'm very studious, so I knew the lines. I figured if I'd never acted before, the least I can do is know the lines. And so I knew the lines, and I just played off of him and this remarkable performance that he gave, and it was just this profoundly beautiful and terrifying experience that I'll never forget, and I'm profoundly grateful for.
Thank you. That's amazing. Speaking of emotional breakdowns, Jan, can you tell us, or do you care to share anything about your experience having your grandson choke the crap out of you?
I'm alive. I understand that even after that scene was so emotionally, was so intense, that he went and made a phone call to his grandmother in Australia, and just to talk with her and tell her he loved her. That was, here again, it's the same thing like Christabel. It was like, hi, I'm Jan, and we're going to do the scene, and he called me some bad things. So I was very flattered that David and Mark, put that opportunity together to see more of Sylvia, because she got sort of lost once in a while in the first season, and then finally was brought back for the last show. And so it was, we did it several times, from different angles. My big surprise was when I walked on the set and I had a different son, Johnny. So, and evidently I had tied him in the chair so he wouldn't fall over and run away, and my parenting skills or grandparenting skills were questionable the minute I walked on the set. And because we did that one first, and then I found out what was happening when he ran through the hall after we did the scene. So it was, and I didn't ask questions. I didn't say, who is this, So, but it was very emotional and very intense. He was very concerned that he was going to hurt me, and I did get thrown around a bit. We had a stunt person and whatever. But it was, here again, you just give yourself up and trust the other actors, and David is there. He knows exactly what he wants. And I suggested one little thing once, and he said no. I said, okay, I got it, I'll do it. And so, and it's so nice to see my daughter here tonight. Wonder how her parenting skills are, and I don't want to say they came from me at all. I hope that wasn't any kind of an influence, but it was very, very emotional. I've got to run. We have a family reunion. I finally got my 5 kids together and flying in from different places, and they're waiting for me up in the woods. And it is a cabin, and I told them I don't know how to get there. So if you got your cell phones on, and if there is even any service where I'm going up by Ronald or something, then you may see me out there with the owls and everything else that I'm lost. But I wanted to say again that I really, really appreciate, and there's been some of you that really champion Sylvia. This is 25 years ago. I've been to a lot of these too, because I'm local. And so I end up here and I see people that have been here years ago. And it's just phenomenal. And your love and care and concern for the characters in the show. So anyway, I really appreciate those people that you know, we didn't want Sylvia to get hurt, I guess, you know, because you felt something for me. So I appreciate that. And I really welcome you to this beautiful, beautiful country that we have up here. And please, you know, keep coming back again. And I'm going to run and have a good time. We'll try to get back
Thank you, Jan. Safe travels, and make sure the cabin is well stocked with tuna fish. Okay? Awesome. Okay. The next one is for Sabrina, and it's from Kyle from Yakima. He might know something about this one, actually. We've heard a rumor that only 8 people have read the whole script for season 3 for The Return. Can you confirm this? And who has, if you can tell, only if you can tell, who has read the whole script besides you, David, Mark, and Kyle?
And Showtime.
And Showtime.
So let's see. That's a good question. So just so you're aware, so when David and Mark wrote, they submitted what they had to Showtime. Mark went to write his book. David actually continued writing some more. And then we continued writing while we were shooting a little more. So the actual full thing, the editors, script supervisor, probably some of the keys, production designer, DP, those kind of people. So the crew, certain key crew people were able to read the script. We had scripts on set that were under lock and key, so if you had to look at something, you could do that. So there are many people who actually did read the script, thankfully, and NDA, thank you. They did not reveal what was there, but there are more people than just the few of us. But I will say that they only read what we shot. They didn't read, like, everything.
Awesome. Thank you. Speaking of NDAs, Sherilyn, we know that you can't talk about anything in season 3, but can you talk a little bit about the Vanity Fair shoot? The photo shoot? Or not Vanity Fair, sorry, Entertainment Weekly. The Entertainment Weekly photo shoot and how that experience was for you.
What? Sure, Entertainment Weekly, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it was fun. I mean, no, it was fun. Yeah, it was great. It's always great to get everybody back together.
Awesome, thank you. And we have one more question from Rob.
Is this the last one?
This is the last one.
This is the last one. Everybody remember the Entertainment Weekly cover, right? Yeah. Everybody looked at it. And did anybody else find it interesting that James was holding an owl? James has an interesting story about that, which he didn't know he was going to tell until just now. So he's going to, we got an opportunity. I got to hear this. I want you to hear this.
So I want you to tell the story about the owl.
Okay. The owl, basically, it's just kind of it was one of those funny things where I've had this funny little synchronicity with owls my whole life, but I never thought I'd get near one. And I used to collect little owls and stuff or whatever, but yeah, we were back, there's like this huge soundstage type setup, and we were back, you know, getting ready and stuff, and I turn and look, and there's this owl, you know, sitting there on this perch that was really kind of mangled, you know, it looked like the owl had eaten it and attacked it, and it was painted different colors, it had stickers on the side. And the set, it looks like the lodge, you know, it's like this beautiful dialed in set, and when it came time to do the owl, they had everybody on the set, and they said, okay, bring in the owl on the set, and they were going to put him in the dead center, and they put him on that stinking looking thing, you know, and here's this dialed in set, and there's this, you know, awful looking perch that he was on, and I knew that David hadn't gotten there yet, and I knew that if David was there, he would have said, oh, can we lose the perch and get something nice, you know, something to hold the owl up, because, I mean, there were stickers on it, that's it, something like, you know, like skateboard stickers or something, you know, and so I said, you know, I don't know why, I used to have a parrot, so a big pet. So I said, you know what, do you mind if I hold the owls so we can either that or get rid of the perch? First I said get rid of the perch, and then I said, you know what, can I try holding him? And they asked permission and stuff, and yeah, he got on, and I was like, and the trippy thing is that he's wild, so he has to do this. He's been in captivity his whole life, but he's still a wild animal. So he has to get rid of his stuff, like he gets all, so you're holding him, and then like every 3 minutes or so, he just flips out, and he gets rid of all this stuff, and he goes, and he's heavy as hell, and he flies all over the place, and you have to keep your arm rock solid while this thing's whipping all over the place. You're kind of doing this, yeah, exactly, you're standing right there.
I'm sitting, it was right like that.
Yeah, and the thing goes, and I'm like, I'm just rock soliding the hand as hard as I could, and every single time he just would do that, and then land right on the thing and just chill out. And then every so often, right when he was about to do it again, the handler he'd go, James, get ready, because he'd see there are little things that he does that show that he's about to do that. So okay, I lock down my hand, and the thing goes, lands back on again, and I'm just, it was fun. But yeah, that's basically it. So thank you.
Thanks so much, that's awesome. I understand that Charlotte would like to say something now.
Is it on?
Nope.
No problem. I think I was a professional. So I sent an email to David about a month ago. And I said, I'm going up to the Twin Peaks Fest. And, the last couple of years you've given me a little message to give to the fans. Give to the fans. Okay, thank you. I think I was a professional, right? Okay, so he said, okay, let me think about it. And then I got this email back, of course the top, David Lynch. Dear Charlotte, try this. In quotes. Does one chair lead to another? Question mark. Close quote. Wishing you all the best, Charlotte. Have fun at the festival, like David.
Awesome. Thank you guys all so much for those wonderful answers, and thank you guys for the wonderful questions. Super awesome. We're going to take about